Well, well, well. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing this fine Saturday, November 29th morning? Y'all Americans filled with tryptophan? My backdrop, you would have noticed, is a little different today. I am putting in bookshelves. Yeah. So I got that going for me. How's everybody doing? How is everybody doing? Ryan, saw ya. Anthony, good to see you. Runeslinger, Shambot, morning. Laramie, walking home, I see. Joe, morning. Morning. Jake, morning. So for those of you not in the know, it's American Thanksgiving. It's the official kickoff of the American holiday season, even though it's only 2, I guess. So, but it is what it is. Dorcas, morning. Scene framing, sometimes less is more, is shown by this famous example some may know well. You are standing in an open field west of a white house. The boarded front door. There is a small mailbox. It's because pencil stabbing me is sometimes how I feel. That's tricky. Kodakin, good to see you. Morning. Yeah. These things aren't easy. They're not hard to put together, just tedious and dry as hell. I was either dehydrated, dry, or both. All right, good to know, Ryan. Thanks for the heads up. Sneeze, good to see you, Chris. Yeah, it's a big, somewhat project. We'll see. Right now, we're getting snow. We're supposed to get like Snowmageddon, first one of the 25-26 season. So yeah, we got that going for us, which is pretty nice. Let's start off before we get into the main topic. Let's get into what everybody is playing. Play check. Call it a play check. Play check. I should probably make that as a stinger. Play check. Shelves are good for the soul. If you want to do them right. Otherwise, these things can look like garbaggio. Harrigan, good to see you. I gotta turn on that setting somebody told me to turn on. Harrigan, you're not even blue. I don't even know why. What's going on here? Are you? Oh, you are blue. Weird. Two different views. Artico. Zeal. I'm a little spacey. I had tired yesterday, man. These, like I said, these things are not hard to put together. But like when you're bending and lifting and putting this and screwing that in there and putting this in there, like I do things that I don't usually, like I exercise muscles in my body and flex in different ways that I'm not used to. And then at the end of the day, you're like, brr. Well, that's why I got them. I was getting Kickstarter arrivals and I'm like, dude, I don't have anywhere to put this stuff. Like literally, like you should see, I got stuff everywhere in here. Because I got rid of a armoire that had books in it. So those books had to go somewhere, which is on the floor all over the place. It's a mess. Plus you have cats, so then you got to be careful of those little buggers. Ted, morning. I complain. They are IKEA shelves, but I'm going to put them in a frame and I'm going to put rails on them. I'm going to make them look real schmancy. So when I'm done, they're going to look like they're built in. I'm still trying to figure out how to base them. You're supposed to base them somehow. I'm like, well, why? How? Like, how wide is the base? How deep? Yeah. Sorry, Dorcas. I have played Zork, but I didn't play it very often because I kept running into getting eaten by a grue. Gabe? Oh, look at this guy. I may be off and on today, company present. And this is the guy who suggested the topic. Just tell company you're going out in the garage. You got to take care of a couple things and then mosey out there, crack open a beer. I mean, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Rapscallion, Streets of Avalon, Daggerheart. What is things associated with gaming? Oh, that's Chris is naming off his play check. Forged, Star Forged with lots of add-ons. It's like my, I gotta scroll. I thought this was going. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Playing nothing. Ryan West, get out of here. I get it. It's Thanksgiving. You're taking a break. I get it. Mythic Bastion Land. Sweet. Uh-oh. You know who that is? You know who Wayne Peacock is? You know what's special today for Wayne Peacock? I'm going to out him. It's his birthday. It's Wayne's birthday, everybody. Don't let him fool you. Don't let him get away with it. It's Wayne's birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Tip your servers. Runeslinger playing CoC 6E 1931 Boston and Dreamlands. Sweet. A little CoC action going on. Playing CoC and Deathmatch Island. Oof, that Deathmatch Island hers rough. Running nothing live at the moment. What? Get him some covert action role-playing games. Kodakin finishing Heroes Unlimited one-shot today, prepping for Starfinder campaign starting in January. Starfinder Deuce? Duh? Tim, one shot of something today and session 0 of Daggerheart tomorrow. Have you run Daggerheart yet, Tim, or is this your first go? Inquiring minds would like to know. Wayne, running Monster of the Week, Daggerheart, and Shadowdark, playing Deathmatch Island with the RPG hooligans. Oof. Ted, holidays have messed up my gaming schedule. A 2-day Star Trek adventure game in 2 weeks is on the calendar. I don't want to keep them white. I want to paint them. I have a monochrome basement when I remodeled. Back in the day, if you guys remember when I was doing gaming in BS, there was videos of me like my whole basement ripped up, and I did gray walls, white trim, black doors, and then I changed the what do they call it? The accoutrement, the finishing, whatever. I don't know what the doors and knobs, and for what all kind of like a silver or brushed nickel, if you will. So I'd like to paint these super dark. I don't know though. I mean, I got to paint them, but I heard the paint that you have to use when you're doing this laminate stuff is pretty potent, and my wife's going to get sick if it stinks. So I have to find a way to prime them. The other option is to sand them, and I don't really want to sand down here because sand just is a crazy dust creator. So I don't know. I want to get some rails though. I got to get a frame, put them in, and put this wall. I'm going to get rails, and then I'm going to put some verticals in. That'll make it like much better looking. I don't want to do white. I just don't want to do white. My wife's like, oh, you should keep them white. I also thought about a really, really dark green, but I don't know if it'd really match anything down here. Who's good to see ya. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for getting up this early. Joe, I haven't been playing anything. I don't think I might have partook in one of our D&D sessions this month. Stephen Dragonsmon, morning. What are you playing? Phil McClurry. Started my One Ring campaign last week, sure no. I came in a little heavy. 2 PCs died in Great Spiders Workwood Nest. Next adventure won't be so lethal. That's Phil if he didn't live in Canada. Happy escape from the womb, Wayne. Oh, look at that. There they go. There's another person's birthday, but he's not in the chat, so I won't say anything. Oh, Phil. What are you doing? What are you, silly monkey? Joe's outed me. Yes, it was yesterday. Wayne's a ripe 21. Congratulations, Wayne. Oh, I'm sorry, I misread that. We'll just keep it that way. Eileen, morning. Thank you. I am older. Stefan says, I will be running on a Christmas themed 5e game tomorrow, Curse of the Krampus. Chambot, one session of the old man, D&D, otherwise on break for the holiday season. Up now, this is the time campaigns go to die, right? Mike just did a playtest of my new rules light called Nutshell. Oh boy. Nutshell RPG. Here again, play-by-post, running covert ops, Kern, OSR, Walking Dead, Delta Green, playing Swords and Wizardry, Gods of the Forbidden North, Warpland, Liminal Horror, Shadowrun. That's a lot of writing. This guy. Dorcas, just playing GURPS tomorrow. Oh my God. Been working out some kinks for my Delta Green one-shot entry. 1,500 character limit is a bit of a challenge. I want to do that. Orcus, when's that end? And speaking of which, Harrigan, do you have any submissions to that? Orcus is referring to the Delta Green shotgun scenario contest, which I also want to do, which I am finding less and less time to do it. It's an excuse. I'm standing by it. William Thorpe, morning. Thank you. Thank you, Wayne. So Wayne and I are the same age. 21. Huh? Right, Wayne? Beers. Let's go get some beers. Free beers. Harrigan, eek, Shadowdark, not Shadowrun. It's all right, man. December 15th. Yeah, I thought it was. Harrigan says, yes, I have 2 framed out, but not written up. Get a ghostwriter. Thanks, Oos. Our Thursday night game might be on break as UConn. Then Thanksgiving, Christmas, all fell on our usual nights. Been calling out of my Saturday game for health reasons. 21 if you live on Jupiter. There you go. See? Exactly. I knew Stefan would. He'd pick that up. Well, I haven't answered the question. I'm running Deathmatch Island. Whew. Yikes. Was that off to a rough start? Running Delta Green. I have put my players in the night floors, or I will be. I don't know if that's the way to go. I'm still on the fence with that campaign setting. I think it's really great. I think it's cool, but I don't know if it's going to go over well with these guys. I look small with these like shelves. Almost looks like a fake background. It has begun, Harrigan. Yeah. Delta Green. Hey, Hish. Good to see you, man. Good to see you, Hish. Time is it in the world where you are, Hish? Is it like late night? Or early morning? Delta Green, one of my faves. Wayne says, I got carded a week ago, thought that in 2 years I would be 3 times the legal age. Hobbit perspective, right? 10 o'clock. Late night. I get my time zones wrong. Going east for us is earlier in the day. Going west is later in the day. Victor, morning. Frog Dick, morning. I know who that is. All right, let's get into the topic. We're just going over who was playing what. Scene framing. Now, because Gabe said he was going to be in and out, he won't be able to comment on any of this, so whatever, Gabe. Just kidding. Wish your co-host a happy birthday, by the way. Don't forget. Mine. Laramie, I'm glad you got home safe. Farming, I'm out of here. Dude, did I do the thumbnail backwards? I bet you it would be like me to do scene farming. That would be awesome. I should have done that anyway. All right, so Gabe Dibbing, who is out in the garage, he's making his way to the garage to grab a cold frosty one and probably tune into this and get out of the fiasco that is family. And I'm just making that up because I'm a game master, man. Says, hey, I propose a Saturday topic, he writes in the Discord. Thank you for doing this, Gabe. I've been reflecting on hard framing, he says, in quotes, particularly for certain RPGs. I talked about this a bit on Analytic Dice when my experience failing forward, again, quotes, failing forward, in Outgunned resulted in so many narrative forks that the overarching narrative stopped resembling remotely what I had intended for the adventure. Likewise, my experience in BRP, or basic role-playing, style games like Call of Cthulhu and Delta Green often have felt like hours upon hours of ambling around in the normal world. When and should the GM cut the action, even if it means intruding on player agency to hard frame a next scenario or chapter in the game narrative? You got this, guys? You got all that? Also wondering, wandering DMs. I think he says also wander. It's not like Gabe to give me a typo, so. Also wandering DMs just to talk. Yes, it is wandering DMs. Wandering DMs just talked about this, but not at all in the same way I just did. Their main concerns appear to be about time management and being a good host during convention play and sometimes at home. So I will see if I can get this to... I will post the video to Wandering DMs. Wandering DMs is a YouTube channel, so apparently they've talked about it. Gabe was referring to it. So he is alluding to the fact that many of us will talk about this differently. You know, what does it mean? How do you define it? All that good stuff that Misdirected Mark does. Defining it. Wandering DMs covered something similar in the post link to video. Yes. Tim says, doesn't the game's rules cover scene framing? I don't know about that. I guess it depends on the game, right? Depends. Sure am. I got to find my snow shovels. There you go, buddy. I knew I could count on you, Gabe. Snow shovels. You got a foot yet? Oh, it's getting there. Oh, yeah. Probably about 5 inches out there right now. Got to go out there, shovel the sidewalk, and don't want anybody tripping, you know. Harrigan says, that means it's on for Thursdays, Wayne. Oh, God. Say again. Who says, depends, Gabe. Harrigan says, hard framing is an essential tool for some games, and no, many games don't discuss it at all. I would agree with Harrigan. Delta Green, as far as I know, the Handler's Guide doesn't pull that up, but the Handler's Guide is very much a documentary or a history of Delta Green. It doesn't have a ton of rules. And even in this Agent's Handbook, it doesn't really address that specifically. So there's two reasons. Let's talk about this for a second. think there's probably at least one or two reasons why they're probably not addressed in every role-playing game, unless it's inherent to the game. Say you're playing Primetime Adventures. It's been a while since I've read the rules. Yes, I've owned it. Primetime Adventures, you play an actor in a TV show, and the TV show is kind of the role-playing game. And Tim Jensen will correct me on that if I'm wrong, because I know he's played it and knows it. But that's pretty straightforward, right? It's a TV show. Like, it's going to have probably some scenes. There are also games that talk about a scene, right? You go to the scene, you set it up. Deathmatch Island is kind of like that on a what's it called? The site. Oh, shit. It's right here. I could read it. It's right here. I could pull it out. But so some games would probably lean towards more here. I'm going to tell you what the scene is. Okay, let's start. Zoom in or we zoom out. Our party is inside a tavern. There's things going on. There's a drunken person in the corner. People laughing and talking, blah, 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 blah. What do you do? But what Gabe is talking about is not the intro to the game, but much less, more in the middle of it. With Delta Green, I have a problem with this because Gabe's played in my Delta Green games, where Delta Green can be run in the moment. And fast forwards, like, okay, that's the end. In Delta Green, I find players wanting to live minute by minute. Like, no. Don't wait a minute. Hold on a second. We want to do something in that a lot of time frame. The next day, we're not even done with the day we're in. It's like 2 a.m. Well, so what? You guys have no willpower. You're falling asleep. We could take stimulants. I recommend caster wheels for bookshelves, and yes, Gabe in the garage. It's apparently 5 o'clock in my basement right now. Yes, here you go. Orca says, well, isn't that possibly the flaw with Outgunned, and it's not really presented to me as something meant for long-term use? Isn't it essentially a one-and-done cinematic one-shot of sorts? There are things like points. There's a meta currency, I think, that goes from one session to the next. So it's got some things that aren't just one shots. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, folks. Victor says the game rules should cover scene framing, if for nothing more than to help new GMs learn how to keep the vibe of the game moving. Wayne, give me a definition again of hard framing, Sean, versus soft framing. Ooh. I think it is like, okay. And I would say, and I'm not looking this up, right? It's not Webster's, but I will say this. In Deathmatch Island, it is pretty cut and dry. If you've never played Deathmatch Island, think Running Man, Squid Games. It's not, you don't have a lot of player latitude in the microtransactions of a particular encounter, okay? There is an objective to be done on an island. And when you roll against a particular target number, whether you fail the roll, succeed on the roll, and then it depends on where you rank in that roll. In other words, you can succeed but still not win, like be the winner or highest roll. And then you narrate from worst to best, and you paint that scene as a player. So it's not like, okay, can I look around? No, it's not like that. It's just, here's the scene, this is what happens. And when you're done, and the challenge, I think that's what I was looking for. Each point has a challenge. When the challenge is done, it's finished. And when I've run Deathmatch Island at GameholeCon, for people that aren't used to that type of game, they will get into the D&D. While I look around the tower, do I find anything else? It's a challenge. Imagine it as a TV show where you're on Survivor. They're all lined up on the beach. The host comes out and says, all right, everybody, good to see everybody today. Today, we're going to do this. Tug of war, whatever. The only trick is you're going to be doing tug of war against, 3 man-eating lions or whatever. The winner gets to, go on to the next challenge. The loser, well, they become food for the lion. They do it. It's done. It's finished, right? That's the box kind of thing. Now, some of those details may actually, you as a game master in some games, it may be the start of the challenge is now. The end of the challenge will be when we roll the dice and narrate it and it's finished, and that will be the end. And in Deathmatch Island, when that challenge is finished, usually with the probably coming across the cache, if you will, and the leader gets to dole out the goods, because the leader is determined by who rolls the highest, then they could dole out the goods, and then it's done and finished. There could be an addition to that scene where it would be like, okay, leader, where do you guys go next? So that could say in Deathmatch Island, that would be the end of the scene, is when the leader determines where they are going next. Then it's cut to commercial, right? It's like a TV show. Literally, cut to commercial. When we come back, we will meet the party. We will meet the party at the next site. Okay. Now, from one point to the next, from one site to the next, there could be dialogue that occurs between the players. There could be something that injects itself during that. It's not a hex crawl, though. It's not, hey, we're going down the corridor of the dungeon. But you could have role-playing moments where Deathmatch Island kind of leans into the role-playing aspects of those things. So, again, zooming back, we're back to Deathmatch Island. On the way to the next point, there was an altercation. Let's go to that altercation. Boom! It flashes in on two people, 2 contestants, bantering back and forth on how they messed up the last point or whatever. Okay, let's fade away from that. Now they're finally at the point. So there's some of that going on. To Gabe's point, what he's talking about is, I think that the Delta Green, I could tell specifically where that just can keep going and going and going. And it's like, okay, well, I guess we're done here talking to this witness. I'm done at the library. Now I'm going to go and get some food. Okay, you go get some food. Great. It's done. You go get some food. So there's some of those things, but I think also, I've gotten like, what do you mean it took like 20 minutes to go to Walmart? Isn't it right down the street? What is the difference between a hard frame and an implied soft frame? I've been GMing longer than I've been teaching, and because of that, I do scene framing in class when I begin a new topic. Hish, can you define soft versus hard framing? I think it's like for soft framing, it's like, okay, everybody, I think we're good here. Let's move to X or Y, right? Like it's more, it's more of a implied, or we've come to a point where we should probably do it. Hard framing, I think, and I'm only speaking for Gabe, some people would describe that as it starts here, it ends here. Okay, whatever is in between, right? That's the frame. Harrigan says, for one-shots in con games, hard framing is a no-brainer. It needs to be used with some care in wide-open games where the players have go anywhere and do anything agency. But he continues, but it's often very necessary in those games. Are we just talking limited choice or limited narrative power for the player, says Wayne. Well, that's the rub, right? That's the other part of Wayne's thing is like, okay, you could do hard framing, but does that take away from agency? Like you could say, again, go into the Delta Green component. If I say, all right, that's enough. You guys, you're done for the day. You can't do anything. To Wayne's point, you might say, well, then you're taking away the power from the players, right? You're taking away the agency. If they really want to continue to do that, which I have struggled with. Like, I have players that just keep on rolling and rolling and rolling. And I think Harrigan's even said, Sean will give you just, as much rope as you need to hang yourself as a character. It's true. I don't think that's necessarily a good thing with the way that I roll with Delta Green. I need to tighten it up a little bit because I think I'm too far, right? Harrigan continues, scene framing and hard framing are two different things. Hard framing is a type of scene framing that limits what the options are on the table. Things are happening. Decisions have been made. Harrigan continues, including some off-screen by the GM. Root Slinger. The more the group wants the sessions to feel like an episode of TV, such as Star Trek, the more the GM needs to be willing to start and stop scenes when its purpose has been met. Runeslinger. This is more common when there is an explicit drive towards story and time is conceived of as scenes. Aaron continues, the GM has chosen an X location, and that is that it's night. He was talking to Wayne, talking about, hey, the team is parked in front of the house. It's night. If there were daylight hours left, the player might chafe. Yes. It can tromp on players who want to play out every moment of every day. That's the rub. Harriet says in media res is one type of hard framing. Kodakin says 7th C, 2E is similar. Players pick an approach, which determines which skill they will use. They roll to earn a pool of successes. Then successes are spent on actions in the narrative. Continues, it is a paradigm shift, and my group struggled a bit with it. Some of these things are not easy. Like when you start getting into like Deathmatch Island type, like it's the Paragon system. And if you're familiar with, what's the Aegon role-playing game, then you'll know. But it's not for everybody. Phil says, scene framing is a big part of the One Ring. When we started the game, I had to describe how it would be used since we wouldn't be playing out every moment. Lots of scene cuts, move story forward. And it's a particular style. There may be game masters that are running insert any game that doesn't truly define what hard framing is or framing or whatever. And it might be even in a DM guide, Dungeon Master's guide is like, here's some tips, right? And there's some game masters that part of their style, roll in the open, what else? It could be a particular style, referring to things in the first person, third person. All of those things I would say is a particular, make up a style of play. And that could be many in one game because, let's see, Harrigan and I were talking about it, I think on Go Bag, where we were talking about, having one person refer to their character in the third person, one character switching in and out, and then one person being like first person all the time, right, in the moment. And so if you take those, the GM has to adapt their style to those things. So when we're talking about hard framing and soft framing, it could just be a particular GM style, unless the game is like, this is the way it works. Phil continues, especially during the journey phase. It's a good, what are some good reasons to put in some hard framing? I mean, the one that Phil just alluded to, the journey phase. So if you're playing in a game that's not Forbidden Lands or a hex crawl, that is supposed to be part of the game and some of the interesting, or whether you find it interesting or not, it's kind of part of the game. To the point in Forbidden Lands that each person of the party has particular tasks that they're doing that facilitate exploration or walking through the wilderness. But if you're playing in a game where it's like you walk, and you walk some more, well, it would just behoove you just to get from, unless something happens, we're just going to keep going, and this is going to happen. Forbidden Lands handles that a little bit with the scout, right? If the scout only rolls if there's something to roll for. Like and it just tells you whether you have the drop or the other opposing force does, like an ambush or whatever, an encounter. So some of those things could just be, okay, good. Cut. You guys are now in the city of Greyhawk after 2 days of travel, right? Let's play out the 2 days of travel. Okay, who's going to go and, it's the game you're going to try to facilitate. Wayne says, so soft framing is the GM letting the PCs choose the next scene? So is hex crawling the opposite? Oh boy. Aaron, I feel like this is a natural consequence of collaboration. No one has a script. No one is a mind reader. These same tensions about moving on to the next topic happen in any kind of group or discussion. Maybe. You haven't played in one of my Delta Green games. I've literally, hold on, Sean. No, before we go there, hold on. Before that, right? I got some things to do. Okay. Sure. What do you want to do? Well, first of all, I want to go here, and then I want to check this, and then I want to go to the green box. And then if, depending on what I find at the green box, I probably need to go and get some supplies at the local hardware store because I'm going to probably want to blow up the green box. And then if we find it at the green box, then we definitely got to go and take it here, on and on and on and on. Laramie's caught up. Watched me at 5 times speed. Dorcas, I was just going to reference how the One Ring provides a structured use of framing within the game. So there you go. Harrigan says, I think it's pretty essential for many types of people, but it can blow up the inhabit your PC crowd's sense of immersion. Laramie says, 7th is one of those games that I played and such an experience I'll probably never try again. Aaron continues, I think there's a solution just leaning on the game aspect. Offer the players a choice. Continue with the consequences / benefit or move on to gain a consequence or benefit. So here's my devil's advocate to Aaron's comment. Okay, you have a table of 4 people. 2 want to do X. The other 2 want to do Y. Game Master, make your decision. Harrigan says, soft. Wayne, the GM could set the scene, but not define all the details. There could be a conversation about the preparation, about when, about etc., about this, about that. Hish, I think both types of framings require the GM to provide important information for the scene / scenario. Soft, provide the rough information, not story-based. Good for OSR. Hard, very strong, very story-based, requiring players buying into the story 100%. Gabe, I think most GMs, particularly in trad games, will nudge PCs into a scene with soft framing. Yes, hard framing it is. This is happening now. I don't care what you wanted to do. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Does you guys run into the hard framing piece to Gabe's kind of definition? Do you inject that? What do you mean? How are we here? I didn't want to come here. You guys find yourself at the edge of a cliff. Dune maybe requires hella hard framing. Where my Dune players at? Runeslinger, in problem solving and clue interpretation games, cutting away from a significant find makes its import obvious and helps prevent accidental red herrings and tangents. Arian says agreed. Arian continues, it can really help make things cinematic as well. It's a pacing thing. Sean, your Feng Shui game that you played needed some hard framing. Yes. So I can't recall the person who ran it for us. Grave was in that game. It kind of went on and on and on in a couple places. So to his point, Harrigan could have said, okay, you guys do all that. You get through the mooks and the minions. They're scattered and bodies are all over the place. And you hear groaning of injured individuals that you have whooped up on. You've finally made your way to you are now at the dining room where you were going, or whatever, the next room. Orcus Dorcas. Well, it would seem when properly framed, it doesn't take away from player agency, but more so provides context so that they don't waste time lingering in a scene unnecessarily. And this frustrating as a GM. To Orcus Dorcas's point, like Call of Cthulhu, I find this, I don't know, I don't run a lot of CoC. I wish I could play, I'd probably should play more. But with Delta Green, it's very much that. Like, oh, you know what? We should go and check out this. Page. If you're running even if you're running a homebrew and you didn't prep it, or it's not in the cards, right? It's not, why are they going there? Okay, it's an idea that the group came up with. Do you want to squash it? All right, you go to the school, nothing's there. Next. Well, we wanted to talk to people. Yeah, you talk to people, you don't find anything. Nothing? Nah, it's all good. You just went there, you talked, it was nothing. Okay. Do you guys want to go over here? Do you guys want to go here to the restaurant? Like where the person like waits tables? I mean, I guess we could. I don't know how significant it would be. Well, I think maybe it's a good idea. That's where they work and stuff. Oh, okay. Well, I guess we go to the restaurant then. I thought the school was a good idea. Well, I guess apparently there's nothing there. So I guess we just, go to follow along. Wayne says, I think I get the definition. I'm still not getting Gabe's linking this versus fail forward problem question. Those seem like independent issues. Not sure how hard framing affects this. Barty, good to see ya. I think some players need or want framing. Usually newer players want the GM to lead. Otherwise, they'll spend more time than anyone wants in a store buying equipment. You got to put a little bit. To your point. Because that's kind of, it's the sandbox. I would say, Farty, to your point, like a true open world. Like you could do whatever you want. You're here. Where do you go? Like it's drop your player character in the world of, what is it? EverQuest. Where do you go? Not great for tabletop role-playing games, in my humble opinion. Wayne, hard framing a scene would get old, even if efficient pacing-wise. But damn it can be an exciting way to start a season. Fiasco is a friendly way to introduce the idea if there is hesitation or pushback. It helps isolate the idea of playing in scenes versus continuous time. But isn't that just the game? Right? It's the game, like Fiasco. It facilitates a type of play. And it's great. But I would say it's like, well, when you run Primetime Adventures, it's this, or... does anybody have a good example other than Primetime Adventures where it sets up a scene hard frame? Like, okay, we cut to. Dorcas, of course, Harrigan, but that's a different topic. Agency. You keep using that word, but I don't think it means what you think it means. Wink, wink. It can get mixed up with Quantum Ogre stuff as well. Yikes. Aaron says, fair point, Sean. I personally would call that splitting the party. It is within their player rights to do so. Wait a minute. What? Player rights? What? I'm so confused. Well, that's true. That is one way to handle it for sure. I just wanted to think to me, it's not that easy. I mean, splitting the party, yes. But like when you have one person that wants to play this way and another person that wants to play that way, sometimes that we get into all kind of kerfuffles. Sneeze. I'm editing that promos for Thaco with advantage, and there's a clip where they say it depends, followed by, do we have to pay Sean Kelly a royalty when we say that? No, not at all. Half of Delta Green scenes can be in diners, right? But my point is like, hey, you guys, we should go to the, okay, you are now in the diner. What are you talking about? I didn't want to go there. You guys have to eat sometime. Yes, but I as a player would have just told you. Chris says, when you say we cut two, that's generally a hard framing technique, helps with pacing. Also can help when the GM wants to establish a pace. Oh my God, was there a robbery at Studio Shot? No, dude. I'm putting in shelves if you can't guess. So Wayne says, so the GM thinks the scene is just meandering on and on? I've ended scene by giving agency by just saying, what is the last thing you do that night? Perfect. Hey. We haven't talked about tactics to move things along or to like, because I think the conundrum, I'm speaking on behalf of Gabe, but to Wayne's point, it's like, okay, what are we talking about? And then what's the issue? And it's like these meandering things that players just kind of go on and on and on, where if it was like, hey, here is kind of what you're facing. And then when you're done, we move on. With the latter part of that, you risk having the players go, I didn't want to go to the diner. I never said I wanted to go to the diner. Now you're putting me in the diner. Or, but going to what Wayne's saying, what is the last thing you do that night? You are inferring this is the last thing you're doing for the day, quote unquote, right? The day. You're wrapping it up. It's all finished. What's the last thing you do? It's kind of like those leading questions that are known to be from Powered by Apocalypse games, right? Where it's like a leading question. There's the one person in town that you really don't like. Who are they and what do they do? You're giving the latitude to the players, but you're giving them context around it, right? It could be just as easy as that. Thanks for putting that out there, Wayne. So it could be, so how you frame it up is like, all right, you guys have gone all day. You've run here, you've run there, you've done this. There's still a lot to be explored, but you guys are tired as hell. It is very late. What is the last thing you do for the day before you turn in? Shambot says, I am finding the game starting to stall out or the players seem to be spinning their wheels. I might use a hard frame to help refocus everyone. Excuse me. I could see where Gabe is coming from. And this is one of those nuances that doesn't come up as like a topic because I'm talking about like, what do you do when players don't show up and how do you balance that or whatever? These are some of the subtle nuances that can drive, like it's in the moment. I'm like you said, I'm going to talk for Gabe. My guess is that he is experiencing this because I know he's playing Call of Cthulhu right now. That he's probably like, okay, I got to bring this up because it's either like making him scratch his head or it's driving him nuts. Players are moving from scene to scene. It might not be necessary. Gabe says, fail forward usually means you introduce a complication. Heap those on and you have a complication fatigue. But in my experience, you also have moved from the adventure. Now, also, I'm not wanting to lose the context of his outgunned resulted in many narrative forks, right? That overreaching narrative stopped resembling remotely what I had intended for the adventure, which is like a whole nother ball game. So I think there's a couple of things at play that can be related, but they can be also addressed separately. And then when you're addressing them separately, can you bring it back together to improve the thing? Scene cutting is a different concept. Having to refocus the events every 10 minutes because it's changing that fast. That could be pretty taxing on the game master. You cannot type. Here we part ways, Gabe. He elaborates, investigation or quest games. Too much fail forward and you have moved away from the objective. Look at Outgunned, where you never fail, but the goal gets increasingly out of reach. What I had prepared recedes on the horizon. Yeah, that's a whole nother ball game, I think. Hard framing versus like the fail forward over and over and over and changing things. It can be part of a frame, like we just got to call it quits or call this like resolved. Shambot says, I don't like using a hard frame. I tend to look at it like the nuclear option unless I am running something like Outgunned. Hish says, we went only to IHOP for meals for some reason in a Delta Green scenario once. Well, your agents don't get together and discuss things, Hish? They do that outside of IHOP? That's ridiculous. Imagine different games have different fail forward mechanics. He says fail forward is dependent on the game's intent for the fail forward. Different games use fail forward in different ways. Fail forward in investigations is often about getting information at costs. Gabe, I've experienced complication fatigue. I run a lot of PBTA. I believe you, but I don't think I've experienced it derailing my word, an adventure. STA and a few 2D20 games are built around scenes and so lead GMs into scene framing. Hard or soft is determined by context. For example, a split group, or in other words, a split group, a time-dependent threat, etc. I love using hard framing, Sneeze says, into a scene where a die roll was bad because it allows the game to give me a choice to put the characters in a tough spot. Can we clarify whether the question has to do more with handling stubborn players or whether it has to do with effective clue planting for mysteries? Okay, Aaron, you cannot introduce more issues. So I think we're talking about a few things for sure. We're talking about like Gabe's first kind of point, experience failing forward and outgunned, etc. And then there's also the experiences in Call of Cthulhu and Delta Green often feel like hours upon hours of ambling around in the normal world. Now, Delta Green and Call of Cthulhu is an interesting beast because you, as a game master, want to give them agency to do, like you give them the info. For example, Delta Green, here's the mission brief. Okay, do you have any more information? Nope. This is it. Go to Abigail Wright's apartment, catalog the apartment. Okay, what if we find something? Scorched earth, destroy it, nuke it, whatever it takes. Okay, do we know why she's missing? Still pending investigation. Do you know who she is? So there are things around the mission brief in a Call of Cthulhu game that Delta Green will give you. Or even listen to Go Bag, right? James Bond, our episode on James Bond. They encourage James Bond not to contact headquarters, right? Don't call M and find out what you should do. You're the agent. You're competent. You're 00. Go do 00 stuff. But the game master has to provide the info or provide certain things in order for the 00 to just not wander around and chasing all kinds of weird things that really don't amount to anything. And I think part of that is what Gabe is kind of getting at, is like Call of Cthulhu, somebody found a weird book. Now what do we do? Right? So you have to kind of give them certain options. Massive Nyarlathotep. You go to what's his name's apartment in New York City. All kinds of clues scattered all over the place. Pick one, follow it, right? some of those things. But there is some scenarios or adventures or homebrews that come up, and it's like, how do I get them to go here when they're going off the beaten path? And so, yes, to Aaron's point, it could be a clue issue. But does it make sense that they would just walk down the sidewalk and see this thing on the ground, right? So there's a couple things going on. Harrigan, partial success can be different from success at cost, can be different from failing forward. You should be failing towards the objective thing you prepared, Gabe, at a cost. Complication fatigue could be a great topic. Or lack of. Again, my original point, this sounds like an outgunned issue. Tim addresses Aaron. I don't think it has to do with either of those. Don't play with stubborn players and don't treat clues as a pass-fail challenge. Yeah. But there's still things, right, we encounter. IHOP, different reality. I've experienced it. Runeslinger is awesome and points to why GM metacurrencies are the solution. Doesn't Outgunned have metacurrency? How come you didn't use it to solution your problem, sir? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks, Ryan. All I want for Christmas is one more subscriber. Yeah. Wayne and Sean's birthday present. There you go. Thanks, Wayne. We'll share. Games should not have extended periods over 3 minutes of wandering around. Nothing happens. Trumpet. Thanks, Trumpet. Much appreciated. Appreciate the gift. Daryl, congratulations on Trumpet's gift. This is a fruitful topic. I learn new terms, said Wayne. Harrigan says, James Bond is a great example of a game that should have lots of hard framing and where failing should not stop the plot of action. Fail forward. Gabe says, Sean gets me. I got your back, buddy. Sorry to introduce fail forward. In my experience, I often am off track after failing forward. I find, to kind of touch on Gabe's point, Star Wars Edge of the Empire, and I know Gabe's run plenty of D6 WAG, which is a completely different game. And some people would say, oh, God, the Edge system, like, deciphering tea leaves, all that stuff. But I will say this. If run well, Hish can attest to this. Hish is a big Star Wars guy. I think some of these things, I really, really want to do this, but I know that copyright, I would have to do it for the passion of it because there's no money in it. But watching a movie and narrating it as a game. So in other words, let's take Empire Strikes Back and pretend like I'm running that as a game master. And as we go through that, the perfect fail forward piece or whatever, one of those things would be when Han Solo's sneaking around Endor. Sean, that's Return of the Jedi. Whatever. I don't care. Sue me. I got my wires crossed. But it's those things like Han Solo is notorious for failing forward, right? Or, because it's not fail. Going through the asteroid belt, coming out of it. Oh, he failed his navigation check. Now he's in an asteroid belt. So it's a complication, right? It's failing forward with the complication. So he still moves forward in the story, right? He didn't like, oh, you don't navigate to your next point. No, it's what happens when you fail, you get into this predicament. And now he has to go through the asteroids where 3PO is telling him the odds, which he should never say, by the way. Never tell him, okay? But it's like many different things that Han Solo runs into in some of those movies are complete. Like you succeed with a setback. or you fail with an advantage, right? Da, 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 da. Sneeze. I always find it odd that GMs don't just say, your character knows this stuff and would probably consider these things and information because they're competent and know things you as a player don't. That makes my head explode. Because I agree with you, and I like to lean more on that. My Delta Green games, man, if you got a skill that's even remotely decent, you're going to get the info. You're going to get it. It's done. No roll necessary. Make it happen. The only kind of problem I have with that is doing that and then like, well, the player could have done that or could have come up with those things. And so by just kind of going, like I could tell my buddy Jeff, like, well, you're a CIA agent, and through that you would know X or Y or whatever. That can be tied to the skill thing I just mentioned. But at the same time, it's like, well, you just know this, you just know that. So it kind of takes away a little bit from the potential of the player discovering it themselves or coming up with the solution themselves. It's not always. And he's talking about the James Bond point. I got it. Don't call into HQ. Just ask, what would I consider? I'm playing a secret agent, but I'm not a secret agent. Help me out here. For sure. Agreed. But see, here's the rub with this comment right here. Don't call into headquarters. Just ask, what would I consider? I'm playing a secret agent, but I'm not a secret agent. If a player says that at the table, whole nother ball game. If they don't say it, are they like, should I just, I mean, I know they aren't, but do they want to be? Like sometimes that would drive me nuts. If a game master's like, you know what, Sean, you could do, because you know this as super kick-ass Jason Bourne person in Night's Black Agents. And I'd be like, dude, I was totally going to whip out my freaking night vision goggles and my awesome cool weapon and, you know, grappling hook to the top of the roof, shimmy down, you know, fast rope style. Orcus, but Chris, but then your player's complaints on Reddit moves from agency to immersion. Yeah. In games like Bond and Star Trek Adventures, the hard frame can reinforce that the PCs know what the hell they are doing. Be careful if you say Han Solo one more time, Disney will come for you. Han Solo. Will they? They probably will. Stefan says, I found that the narrative dice system runs well and one can quickly figure out the chicken bones reading, especially if you've got an app. However, Tim, plenty of games have nothing happening for long stretches and can be plenty interesting. OSR Dungeon Delves, they are just not interesting to you. Commenting on Tim's, what game specifically has a track. A lot of games don't have that. If track means what I think you mean by it, then Eat the Reich does. Aaron says, Tim, I think you're right. Those solutions would completely eliminate this issue. I wish I could utilize them 100%. Unfortunately, information isn't free, and my friends are stubborn. No one's half the battle. Laramie, maybe I'm in the minority, but this should have been a multi-parter. There's so much here, and I think we didn't even start with the same definitions, and then everything in those definitions orbits. Yeah, it is going to be, this is the conundrums of game mastering and in different groups and different games. It's some of these are just the crux of like, I really hate this game. Gabe, case in point, doesn't sound like Gabe's an Outgunned fan, right? I would say. It wouldn't be his first choice. He's talked about it on Analytic Dice. I don't think I'm saying anything out of line. So worst case scenario, he hates it. Being a little bit more diplomatic, not a game for him. This type of never really failing, but failing forward, failing with a complication, kind of ongoing, going, not the jam that he would like to experience. Can probably directly attribute it to Outgunned. Try a different game. If it's somewhat similar, does it have things to address that? Or is there a game master that helps smooth that over, right? Because I think we could all admit that we could have a less than great game, a game with less than great mechanics, and have a superb game master that can interpret them on the fly, know them very well, understand their pitfalls, and still provide a great gaming experience. But the thing is also to keep in mind is we're playing with like 3 other people, and maybe 1 or 2 of those have different angles of what they like in a game and how they want to achieve it, which is always the biggest conundrum, right? It's like all these dynamics, man. It's no wonder game groups fail. It's so straightforward yet so complex. Like, dude, I just want to play D&D. Okay, let's unwrap that. What does that mean? Well, it's so easy. A game dungeon master presents the scene. We roll dice. We react to them. Great. And then when we're older and start overanalyzing the crap out of everything, and we want certain things to go better, smoother, faster, like D&D game. I want to swing from the chandelier, do a frickin' 10-point dismount or whatever, 3-point dismount, get a 10 on that if it was a judge's, come down on my knee, upward thrust of my sword right through the neck. All right, well, you can't do all that because you only have a move action and a slow action. Okay, great. This is going to be fun. Oh, you're playing the wrong game. Oh, you should be playing that other game, the one that Tim brings up. Oh, because there's like 100 groups in the area that's playing that one game, right? Translating a film into game mechanics is a fantastic drill. We get a kick out of that, and it's more fun with a group. Dude, I watch shows, and I'm like, oh, how would I adjudicate that? Or how was that adjudicated? Just ask if they want help as the GM. It doesn't have to be direct. These conversations are coming your way in 350 character bursts. Yeah. Oh, agreed. Yeah. And they're more complex and nuanced. For sure. In the OSR, sometimes no progress is made. Yeah. Might just be sleep deprived, but I might have to rewatch this. I'm not sure I know what's happened for the last hour. Wayne says, thinking on it, I may just not be a good immersion GM. Gabe says, I had a lot of fun running it, but it didn't feel like a game so much as a narrative generator. Outgunned. Immersion happens in bursts. Anytime you roll a die to engage a mechanic, you break immersion. Scroll. Laramie, while hating games, I played 7C and 1 GM, and it sucked. I never want to play it again emotionally. Logically, I know it might just be that GM wasn't good at it. Well, that's true. It flips both ways. 2 sides of a coin, my Freund. Dorcas, well, maybe a shocker, but it would seem one style of jamming does not suit every game, and also as a player, you shouldn't have the same expectations with how agency should work within the game. Whatever. Jeremy says, as Harrigan said, different styles, my way and then the wrong ways. Being an effective GM across multiple kinds of games does require the ability to play across multiple styles. Temper your expectations is needed per game, and the life becomes easier for both the GM and the player. I got some high expectations, brah. Sean, My rewatch comment, not a criticism. There's a lot of smart people here saying a lot of smart things. I don't think I absorbed a lot of it. Me problem. Oh, no, no worries, dude. All good. Well, that's why this chat is awesome. Lots of moving parts, man. We're trying to hone our craft. And sometimes it's not always black and white. That's why I like try, if it's something that's, well, you just do this. That's really easy to address, Sean. Oh. Well, not for Sean. Well, that's a Sean problem. Yeah, it's all good, Laramie. All good. Oh, good, man. All good. So anyways, I don't know if we did justice to this. There's a lot to unpack. I don't think we really got into the fail forward, fail with a complication, failing outright, right? And the games that do other things better than others. Like Gabe has his go-tos, and there's a reason for it. And I think many of us do, and there's a reason for it. Like, I get it. I totally get it. Some of us are better at playing them. We're better at running them. It just clicks. It makes sense. It addresses that one issue that drives me absolutely bonkers in this other game. Like, yeah, no kidding. Some of us think about this shit too much, too hard as well, for sure. Not just different styles of different game systems, but also different types of players. Yes, it's all variables. Conversely, Orcus, you could just explain what the game intends at the beginning and then follow through on the promise. I don't know if that it helps, but I don't know, man. People are weird. All of this is why some people like and dislike different games. Yeah, for sure. Jim didn't tell me what was correct, so I'll never be able to decide. Struggle is real. Agree with Harrigan. We spend a lot of time thinking about this stuff. It's why this chat is fun for me. Yeah. It's all good. And nobody's got a wrong answer in this thing, right? Wrong answers. It's a discussion. Good, healthy debate. Opens up the eyes a little bit. That's what's driving me nuts. How do I do this? Oh, Wayne. His statement. What is the last thing you do before you call it a day? Boom, bam, done. What I find with my buddy Jeff, it just keeps going. Like, no, time out, dude. You gotta hold on. You can do up to X and Y, but you can't have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Like, you could do that later. Can't do it all at once. It's especially helpful when a single person is experiencing something and then the rest of the party or a single person at the table is like, oh, this is what I do, but you're not there. Okay. I go over there. You're busy doing this. Yeah, I know, but I'm done now. Dude, it's like, what? I'll get you over there. Just hold on a second. Like, whew. I just appreciate that we have the opportunity to talk about all this with people who get it on some level. This convo would never have flown at Thanksgiving. Well, that's the problem. You're having Thanksgiving with the wrong people, Shambot. We should all have Thanksgiving together. That's what I'm saying. Next year, folks. It's wild how almost everything everyone is saying has applied to a game I've played. I learned so much from this stream. Ted, giving you some curriculum fodder. Today, class, I want to talk about failing forward. Today, class, I want to talk about hard framing, soft framing, and the loss of player agency. Let's talk about it for a second. Let's define this. Get on the chalkboard. Dude, you know what's awesome with chalkboards? The frickin' smacking of that frickin' chalk onto the board. I miss that. Just don't get that anymore. Even if they made dry erase markers squeak, sometimes they do. But if they squeaked, as a standard, great. We talk about scene farming next week. Hell yes, we can. I also think that some rules like fail forward and complications come easily for some. Some actually implement them without mechanics. Some mesh well with those mechanics and some just don't. Agreed. Some game masters are really good at certain things and not others. Think long, like decades, not hard. Think long, like decades, not hard. Socrates. Gonna watch from the beginning. RPG Gen Exile. Good to see you. You just got some time. What are you gonna do? Eat some more leftovers? All right. Thanks, Gabe. I think we got something to go off of. These things make me look shorter. It's an illusion. All right, let's get into some stuff. If you guys can hang out, that'd be great. If you can't, I understand. Let's get into some news, shall we? Shall we? Shall we? We shall. We shall. We shall. My gal. Drive-through RPG's offset print option proves unpopular among small creators. Many cite the steep revenue cut without fulfillment support as a key issue. From Rascal, about a month ago, Drive-Thru launched its partner shipping program. We mentioned it here on the stream, allowing RPG publishers to sell offset print books on the storefront, but the announcement quickly came under heavy criticism. The platform takes a revenue cut of 35 or 30% of the retail price, depending on whether the selling publisher is an exclusive partner. And the caveat, the publisher has to manage every other part of the warehousing and fulfillment process to enter, pack, and ship the product on their own. Goes into details. So what sounded like, hey, cool, maybe not so much. Well, what are you going to do? So, yeah, what are you going to do? Where am I? Where am I? There you go. Something to put out there. If you are a publisher, might not be the thing you were considering. Next one, find your next TTRPG group. Introducing Group Finder. Can't find a group. Group Finder. Global platform designed to make it easier for tabletop RPG players and groups to find each other. Built with a focus on accessibility and simplicity, the service has grown into a hub where players create, discover, and join campaigns across multiple systems. Opt in, baby. Da-na-na-na. 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 I don't know why I did the Addams Family, but whatever. Group Finder. The project, born in Estonia. Got my ass kicked in Estonia one time. Where D&D never really made it that big. Will dare to tackle the issue. Finding a platform for both versions of the LFG issue. Players searching for groups and groups searching for players. There you go. No excuse. Other than, I don't know anybody there. At least it's an option. Next one. A nucleus of a community. The 5-hour stage play about Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, people are like, 5-hour stage play? I mean, watch an actual play, right? Even some actual plays aren't 5 hours, granted. In Initiative, a group of young people in the early 2000s find themselves via the role-playing game the latest example of its undying popularity. It's on The Guardian, yo. So yeah, it sounds like a big task. I'm sorry, ask. The idea of presenting an audience with a 5-hour play or even a 4.5-hour play with several intermissions. Yet Initiative, a new off-Broadway coming-of-age epic of sorts, flies right by as emotionally immersive as the Dungeons & Dragons games that enrapture most of its 7 teenage characters. Playwright Elsie Wendt doesn't seem worried about the show's length. So if you're interested, Vox Machina. Vox Machina. Animator set date for roll drinking. There you go. So this is Titmouse, who has the animation studio that does some of the Critical Role stuff. Is going to release Drunkards, Druggies, and Delinquents on Friday, November 28th. Yesterday. A zine-style dungeon crawl. And there's some of the components. Box set includes custom adversary cards and item cards ranging from magic edibles of doubt to cranky talking furniture. Strict 21 plus age rating. Must be 21 to play this RPG. Oh, you're all rushing out there to get it. That's all I had for news. Let's get into bundles. Bundles. This one was put out by Wayne Birthday Boy. Wayne Birthday Boy Peacock. Tabletop Bookshelf Gift Guide 2025. For the indie gamer. For the cozy lover. No Delta Green? That's weird. For the artist, drawer, doodler. For the librarian or book lover. For the miniatures or strategy gamer. For the dramatic storytelling gamer. For the long-time gamer. Limited edition homage dice set. Games for every kind of gamer. There you go. A little something for you. I didn't have any bundles that haven't been put out there in the last week. Let's get into print news, huh? Print news. First one, Stormlight Handbook. Stormlight Starter Set. Bridge 9. Welcome to Roshar. The First Step. By Brotherwise Games. This is the Cosmere role-playing game D20. Brandon Sanderson's The Stormlight Archive series. Rules are roll high on a D20. For dramatic or risky rolls, added 6-sided die with resulting complication or opportunity activates. PCs are built using talent trees for 6 heroic paths and 9 radiant paths. Who got in on this thing? This is the big Kickstarter, right? Right? This is right? Right. Next one, Mazes Bundle. Mazes Fantasy Roleplay, Mazes Handbook for the Player. I remember this was on Crowdfunding. 9th level games. Under the Skin by Space Penguin Inc. for Mothership. Life is cheap and trust is costly out there on the rim. PCs are an urgent mission with a hideous twist. Any character, including the PCs, may be the monster in disguise without even realizing it themselves. Hello, the thing. Next one, Farewell to Arms, RD. Farewell to Arms, RD. Box set by Riverhead Games. Not to be mistaken for Rivethead. I think it'd be cooler if it was Rivethead. Merc Berg. $41 and $102 for the box set. PCs are on the war-sodden front lines, fighting for a cause that they don't even understand or believe in. There are no heroes, only death. Why gotta be death? Next one. Feast for Sphinx. Not Phoenix. A Feast for Sphinx. Merkberg. by Evelyn Moreau. Dungeon crawl of gold and tragedy set in the secluded village of Caladalin and the ancient temple that lies beneath. Booyah. Boo. Booyah. Link. Crowdfunding. Got a few. First one. Dorcas saw this online too. Mass hysteria. Traveler 5e powered by the DSRD in 2026 crowdfunding. Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. It's all about the best science fiction role-playing game ever. Adapted at least to the world's most popular rules. Spearheaded by GDW and TSR veteran Timothy Brown, Traveler 5e is coming from world's largest RPGs with crowdfunding in March of 2026. With all kinds of people weighing in on their opinions. For this, welcome our 5e overlords to take over another IP. Those that say nay, come. What if it got 5e players playing Traveler? What? That would be crazy. I think it's funny. I'm going to troll people on this. I'm just going to go online and go, I just can't wait for Traveler to come out in 5e. Finally, a game I can understand playing. I bet you don't even die during character creation, because if you do, you'll get 3 death saves. Yeah, you want to see some open arms up in there, craziness. But would it be Traveler, Tim says? It's probably going to be better than Traveler. I mean, let's face it. Hey, Mark, what do you think? Which one's better, 5e or Original Traveler? Or Mongoose? Yeah, buddy. I couldn't help myself. That's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. Yeah. They totally Dorcas. They're going to steal my Traveler. Who's you in that camp? I'm going to buy Who's Traveler 5e. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to run games at cons. Take notes. Who's doesn't like Traveler 5e? I'm going to put it up on the roster. Who's going to sign up for my game? I'm going to run it. Traveler 5e. Oh, God. I can't believe they did that. There's always already been a D20 Traveler and a GURPS Traveler. So many Travelers. Why not make another one? Right? I mean, I still sleep at night. All right. RPG crowdfunding news. Dark Space Sci-Fi Rules for Shadowdark from Damning the World Press. There you go. $99 popular pledge, $66K if you want to play Dark Space. Next one. So these are all ending. So if you watch this too far down, these are done. Unless you can get it on like pre-order. Beast. Or as I like to call Hoos. Hoos, the role-playing game. From Studio Medal. Based on the Beast board game, this TTRPG takes beast fighting and power harvesting in its own direction. Beast, the role-playing game, comes in the form of the 300-page Hunter's Guide, 200-page Chronicler's Guide, and the 200-page bestiary. Again, it's all about page count, folks. If you don't make a role-playing game with 300 pages, why are you even making it? Why? And then if you have a supplement, it's got to be at least the same or bigger. Because size matters. People. 44,000 euros. 44,000 euros says so. There. Next one. Vault 5e Uncharted Dungeons from Cubicle 7 Games. It's a Kickstarter. That's funded. Doesn't have a page count. That's why it's like 37,000 and not 44,000. Saying. I'm going to take a gamble on page count on this one. Funded in under 12 minutes. Hellspawn. Does it look like Eddie on there? Looks like Eddie. Obey, burn, repeat. Oof. You know, Merc Borg. You know, I want to play a gritty game. Dude. I'd like to be I would like to be like have like tar. It doesn't have to be hot, like maybe warm. Tar poured all over me. It's like every Merc board game, man. It's just a theme, man. In this game, hell comes to Merc Borg, and it's a numbers game, taking the concepts of Merc Borg to a darker place. What? This game imagines hell as a dimension of accounting in which addition is accomplished by subtraction. Huh? Compatible with all types of Merc Borg games and settings, this third-party standalone offers 100 pages of rules to take you to the worst place. If you like the concept, check out the Kickstarter. 100 pages? I'm in. 14,000 pounds sterling. Next one. Yokai Bestiary 5e, Book 2 from A4 Play. 5th edition. Funded. 5th edition, man. Money, 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 money. As a matter of fact, Traveler 5e, money. It's money. Why are they doing it? Money. Cash grab. Money. That's silly. Why would anybody make a role-playing game for money? Huh. Dumb. Next. Gary's Appendix Issue 9 from RPG Ramblings, not Rumblings. It's an RPG zine. 9 issues into Gary's Appendix, and it's time to talk giants. Who's Gary? I want to know who Gary is, what makes him tick. $6,000 of $600 goal. Next, Loki Battle Maps, the Dungeon Reignited. $121,000, man. Booyah. More high quality, easy to use dungeon maps from Loki Battle Mats. Good for them. 121 grand. Oof, duh. Funded in 45 minutes. Alpha Star Magazine. Issue number 1. For 5th edition and Level Up Advanced. A backer kit. It's the subsidiary of EM Publishing. So Level Up. Mighty nice of them to put themselves last. I don't want to steal everybody's thunder. There you go. That's it. That's all I got. That's all I got today, and we're a few minutes over. Good discussion. I'm going to go do bookshelf stuff so I can get books on them. Problem is, if I paint them, I got to paint them and then let it dry for like a week. Don't want no role-playing games with paint on them, below. I will be here next weekend, Saturday, 8 a.m. Central Time. Shocker. I know. I'll be here. Be here. Be square. I want to thank all these fine individuals that have supported me all these years. Thank you very much. And I want to thank you for being here today to partake in the good discussion, because I think it was great. And there's more to be had. There is. This is not the end of this discussion. Just saying. Just saying. Go have fun with the fam. And when you are totally burned out on that, no, don't go anywhere. Sorry. Psych. Check out this video if you'd be so kind. Otherwise, be a positive force in the tabletop RPG hobby. Join the Discord. More discussion over there. Look forward to next week. If you have a topic idea, put it in the, I guess the go bag section there. Confusing. I don't understand. Sean, go bag? Is that RPG, Sean? What? Huh? Just drop it there. We'll talk about it. See ya.